decide to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing feeling, when you decide to get serious, there's only one place to come, the games of Super Nintendo. No one else creates this kind of experience, because no one else creates these kinds of games. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
Ooh yeah, dig it! In 1990, and Nintendo finally announced the Super Nintendo, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. All of these games brought something new to the table, all the way to the new era of the Nintendo 64. And to be fair, I actually have some good history with this console. I mean, this is the European version of the Super Nintendo, and it is my first console I ever owned as a kid. I was like 3-4 years old. I mean, at that point, the babies should get their conscience already. I can remember when it was like yesterday. I was like 3-4 years old. My mom was at work. My dad was in the kitchen. And he told me, RJ, why not playing on the console a little bit? And that's why I play Donkey Kong Country. I mean, these games were revolutionary very back in the day. And it always has a special kind of place in my heart. And to be honest, this has made me the gamer what it is today. That's why I'm now doing YouTube. That's why I'm reviewing. But it's an Omega Top 5 video, or Top 5 Omega, sorry. And I'm very excited to do it because it's the top 5 my favorite Super Nintendo games of all time. This was a very hard list to make because Super Nintendo games are my favorites. And I don't own all of them in the cartridge. I know you have the library on the Nintendo Switch library. But I also have some on the emulator. And I know I don't really like using emulators, only if it's really, really necessary. And one of them had to be an emulator on this list. So, sit back, relax, grab yourself a soda, grab some popcorn, because we're gonna be here for a very, well, in a decent time. At number 5, we have Super Mario Kart. This was actually very easy to put in, because before Super Mario Kart, you had F-Zero, and because of the powerful chip they had in the system, Super Mario Kart was born. I mean, I like it how they introducing, like, it feels like 3D, but still with the 2D sprites, and because of these powerful F8 chip, they using that with other games as well, and it was just actually a starting point if you think about it for Nintendo. I really like how they introduced in Super Mario Kart because it's the first one in the Mario Kart series. It's also introducing the 8 characters, the first time and only time the character named Donkey Kong Jr. They have the course like Super Mario Circuit, Donut Plains, Bowser's Castle, Rainbow Road, Vanilla Dome, etc., etc., and even a very fun Bell system, or aka Bell mode. Of course, this is just the first one. You didn't have, like back in like 200cc or 12 racers or online play. Now, of course, you got people out there, they mod the game and actually made it online. I don't know which one it was, but it was a YouTuber who's actually doing that, which I'm really looking forward to playing one day. But Super Mario Kart is really fun. It's for the whole family. Of course, 2 players back in the day. This is also, again, 4 players, 4 you can play online. But it's still an old fun time. It's one of the most fun racing experience. I mean, yes, you got like there's so many things to say, because I remember I always had a fight with my sister when it comes to Super Mario Kart, because I always beat her and she doesn't like that. But I like it also that yes, they have reduced in the same name, but like for example Ghost Valley 1, 2 or 3, but they're also with different course settings, and I like that on Super Mario Kart, because yes, you can put it under the name on it, but you can make the layout differently. You can make it easier, you can make it difficult, and that's what I like about Super Mario Kart, because it also starts a foundation to it. I mean, without Super Mario Kart, there won't be a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in the future. See what I did there? No Mario Kart Double Dash, no Mario Kart Wii. I mean, Super Mario Kart was the starting point, and I know it's on number 5 because there are some other games that they also deserved a lot on the higher spots, but Super Mario Kart is on my number 5. In number 4, this is a very odd pick. I think people don't remember this game. I do, and it's ActRaiser 2. It's a sequel to ActRaiser 1. In ActRaiser 1, it was all about side-scroller platformer with a little bit of an RPG or a simulated farming game, while ActRaiser 2 is all about platforming. So it's side-scrolling platform and adventure, and it's hard. You thought that Super Ghosts and Goals were very, very hard. ActRaiser 2 is no joke. It looks beautiful. The theming looks beautiful. It's all about gods, angels, and demons. It's fucking hard. It's not that easy. I always remember I never finished this game as a kid because it's hard. It's really, really hard. Like, yes, you get your abilities, you get your Phoenix Dive, you get your Fire Breath. But the monsters, they're no joke. You got a walking Phoenix Flytrap. You have to face a Golden Dragon. Because every stage has, like, a different sub-boss and a big boss. And it's not so like your typical mid-of-all bosses around here. No. The bosses are like, in ActRaiser 2, mostly are from the seven deadly sins. And the final boss is actually the devil, and in Japan, Satan. So it's actually also very good, and the soundtrack is really good as well. I really recommend to play it. If you don't have it, I wish you good luck with the finding cartridge. I still have to find it one day, but it's still hard to find because the price is, oh boy, it's a lot. But I recommend to play it. I mean, ActRaiser 2 is a hard but fun platformer. If you like slaying demons and you like angels, this is the game for you. That's why ActRaiser 2 is in my number 4. Yes, you got Super Mario World, but let's go a little bit back with the prequel in number 3, and that's Yoshi's Island. Yes, Yoshi, the main star of the show with Baby Mario. I like how they did it with the Yoshi series. You have to snack up the monsters to make eggs, to beat up the bosses, to beat up the enemies. The platforms, some of them are good, some of them very, very hard to beat. But there are also really uniqueness about this game because it's also, again, with the chip. I don't know what, I think if it's the FX chip, I think that is called, because they also rendered 3D sprites. For example, in Bashful's castle, there's one of few traps that is in 3D, will falling down. And I like about that because they really tried to push the Super Nintendo to its limits. I mean, it's not the game that really did it. I mean, I think Donkey Country and not F-Zero, Donkey Country and Star Fox really pushed it to its limits. And this is just a taste what is yet to come when it comes to 3D. But I like about the 2D's adventures platformer with Yoshi because if you have to make sure that baby is gonna stay on that back, because if you don't, you hear that cries every time, and if you don't capture that baby, the Kameks are gonna capture Baby Mario. The whole story is about saving baby Luigi, and it's also the starting point for the Yoshi series, because after this you got Yoshi's Story, you got Yoshi's New Island, you got Yoshi's Woolly World, which is a game I also want to stream one day or do a playthrough one day. But Yoshi's Island is in my number 3 spot as my favorite Super Nintendo games of all time. In number 2, this was an easy pick because 1, I have the cartridge, and 2, it's Super Metroid, or just a very short Metroid 3. Yes, the first Metroid game on the Super Nintendo, and it's also considered by many the most popular Metroid game of all time, because it's all about you going back to Planet Zebes, because Ridley stole the baby Metroid, and you as Samus Aran have to go back to Planet Zebes to destroy the space pirates. I mean, the area, the atmosphere, the music, it's just beautiful. I mean, really, it's really beautiful. I did a playthrough, just a full game playthrough last year in October, and Super Metroid is a game that everybody should play. It's also another platformer, however, it's a game that it's really cool. You're a bounty hunter. You shoot monsters, shoot aliens, for fuck's sake. They brought back Ridley. They brought back Kraid. Phantom was a nightmare. Dragon was an easy to beat. And the final boss, Mother Brain. Oh man, I cannot get that image out of my head. You first beat him like in the original Metroid, and suddenly you have the full body. Oh, and then you get that hyper beam. Oh, it's just, oh, I love Super Metroid. I am glad I had this as a cartridge because you don't even want to know how long this took for me to get it, and it still works to this day, which is just amazing. Super Metroid is in my number 2. It's also a game that you should have in your collection or just play it for yourself. It's in my number 2, Super Metroid. In number 1, I mean, come on now. There's one game that made me a gamer what it is today. I said it in the beginning. Donkey Kong Country. It is my favorite game of all time. Yes, I said my favorite game. Even it's all on the top. And I know I love Monster Hunter, but Donkey Kong Country is always a #1 spot because it's my favorite game of all time. It's the game that made me as a gamer today, as a YouTuber today, and it's beautiful. Free games out of the Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3. I know people may have thought, oh, he's gonna put 2 in it. Yes, Donkey Kong Country is the best out of the trilogy, but you cannot have. You cannot forget the first one. You have to put it on the list. I mean, Donkey Kong Country, you go with Donkey Kong with Diddy Kong. You try to get that banana horde back from King K. Rool and the Kremlins. And 6 areas to explore. Congo Jungle and all the way to the Gangplank Galleon. I mean, I know the bosses are just simple, especially when it comes to Dum Drum. But Donkey Kong Country also brought something new to the table because this is the first game that used the 2D.5 3D characters in a 2D platformer. And again, like I said in earlier of the video, they really pushed this cartridge on the Super Nintendo. They pushed the Super Nintendo to its limits, and they nailed it. They nailed it. Hell, without Donkey Kong Country, we didn't have Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3. That's the same I said with the other games. Donkey Kong Country is the peak of gaming. I mean, it's simple, it's hard sometimes, but it's a game that people should love, should try, and should play. Donkey Kong Country is my favorite game of all time. It deserved the #1 spot. It's a 10 out of 10 game. And if you like Donkey Kong Country 1, then you also like Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3. Everybody has their own list, and I mean, I had to put this on #1. I had to. Also, I want to know, what do you guys think about this list? Now, next week, I will do the next list. Will be I'm checking out the poll. Top 5 Nintendo 64 games will be the focus. It will be not next week. Will be the week after because of the Mario Kart Tuesday Live Finals. Because I also have enough time to record about this one because I haven't played that much of Nintendo 64 games, so bear with me why it will take that long. But also, I want to know what your list is of best Super Nintendo games you have played. And yes, this counts also if you don't own the console, but no, I said wrong. It counts if you have the console, or you play on the Nintendo Switch Library, or use the emulator. Again, I don't like using emulators, but I want to know what you guys are. I will respond very directly, really fast as well. And again, thank you so much for watching. I know I stuttered a lot. I mean, when it comes to games that I like, I never use a script. This is just 100% me. No bullshit. Just straight up to the point. Like Iwata said, I will show you directly what I want to say. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button for me if you want to see more top 5 Omega videos. And see you guys next time. Bye bye.